So welcome back to the third part of my how to describe a beginning. So first let me explain you that in this part 3 I am going to show you words which will help you to describe if you want to begin something again. So how to describe to begin something again. Now how are you going to describe? Now I am using some very simple words. Let me write few words. Now, for example, revision. Revision, you revise. When you are in school, you are in college, and you are again going through what you have learned in your previous classes. So what you do? You revise. Now, next is repeat. Means again you do the same act, what you have done previously. That is repeat. Now, there is a word recapitulation. To recapitulate means to revise in a way. So both revision and recapitulation can be used in the same sense. Okay. Now next it can be rehearsal. The actors, the dramatists, they rehearse their play. Singers, they rehearse the song again and again. So rehearsal. Then next it can be recur. Means if something occurs back, something repeats. Recurring decimal we have studied in mathematics, that it again comes back and back and back. So recur, R-E-C-U-R-R. Then there is a nice word, we can say revert, come back. Revert. So you see, these are words which express if you want to describe something that has occurred again. But do you know, good English is now changing. Now, good English is not only about words, but from words, the advanced English is changing towards the use of phrases. Very often, good writers, good journalists in the newspapers, even good speakers, they are using phrases. Instead of words, they try to replace the words with phrases. Now, phrases are a group of words which will express not the individual meaning of the words, but the meaning may be something else, the deeper meaning. Now, for an example, a phrase can be like, you have to be very cruel in order to be kind. So, can you see the contradiction? You have to be very cruel. You have to be very cruel in order to be kind. So both the things are expected from the same person. So that is the power of a phrase. So now I will show you some phrases which you might have come across while you might have read some novel or some magazines or good books. So it will give you a recall value, a recollection value. Now for example, there is an expression, to rise like a phoenix. To rise like a phoenix. Now, phoenix is a mythological bird. Phoenix is a mythological bird which was burned into ashes, and again it rose back from its ashes. So, right from the very, it has collapsed, everything was finished. But somehow again, it came back. So even after getting destroyed, if someone is trying to resurrect himself, if someone is trying to, that resiliency is there. Resilience. Okay, resilience. Resilience. R-E-S-I-L-I-E-N-T. Resilient. R-E-S-I-L-I-E-N-T. The person is resilient, means he bounces back from his setbacks. So rise like a phoenix. Now this is better than you use again he became better. So that's not a good expression. Rise like a phoenix. Now if you begin something from very basic level, you will say from grassroots level, from grassroots level. Or you might have very often heard this people saying, I started everything from the scratch. So from the scratch, from the scratch. Now let me wipe this portion. Now let me show you some interesting phrases which you can associate with the very first stage of man's life, that being a child. So I need little more space, so I am wiping this. Okay. Now you see, you remember we were talking about being a child. Now a child is often considered as a fool. Now, if you say fool to someone, he may feel very bad, but it will take some time for him to understand. If you say that someone suffers from vacancy of mind, we say no, the mind is empty. So, vacancy of mind. So the person, you will say it in a very subtle way, that person may not understand. So though he may be a listener to it. So vacancy of mind. Or you can say someone as a fool by saying that he is having poverty of intellect. Poverty of So don't say someone that you are a fool. Instead, you can use the phrase that I think you suffer from vacancy of mind. Or you can say, see friend, I think you are having a poverty of intellect. So these are some better ways than direct confronting with, words which will make the person go offensive. Now, child. Now there's a nice expression. You can say that someone who is a child is a person who is tied to mother's apron string. So tied to mother's apron string. That means the person may be a grown up, but you are indirectly telling him that he is very childish. He is infantile. He is infantile. Why? Because he is tied to his mother's apron string. You are getting it? Now, next is, now if the person, so here means he is dependent. Now, if the person decides to be independent, so what will he do? He gets independence. So the expression can be he has cut the umbilical cord. It is UMBI, umbilical cord. So cutting the umbilical cord, see, umbilical cord is that through which the child is attached with the mother inside the mother's womb. So during childbirth, the umbilical cord is being cut. But this has word has found itself in English expression also. Why? if someone wants to be independent, he wants to be on his own. So this can be a better expression to explain someone who is going independent, who otherwise was not independent. So who otherwise was not independent. So cut the umbilical cord. Now, how and why he would have cut the umbilical cord? He would have decided very firmly that I am going to improve, I am going to change, I am to be independent. So he might have decided to cross the Rubicon, R-U-B-I. Now crossing the Rubicon means to take a decision which you are not going to, deviate from, an action which cannot be changed. So crossing the Rubicon means an action or decision that is firm and not to be changed. So crossing the Rubicon, the fellow crossed the Rubicon and decided to cut the umbilical cord, and he moved to the other city. So these are the ways writers write. Now let me come to the end of our session. Now we cannot forget Latin. Latin is in a way grandfather of English. So let us explain the end. Let us explain the beginning in the end of my session in Latin. So in Latin, the beginning is expressed in the words ab initio. Ab initio. Ab initio means in the beginning. Ab initio. Right from the very beginning. Right from its very inception. So ab initio. And you will find it, those who are studying law, those who are studying business law, you might have read this expression, or you will be reading, that a contract is void ab initio. Something is void ab initio. What does it mean? It means something is completely null and void from the very beginning. So it was really a wonderful session that all of you are here and you have attended my part 3rd also. Thank you all of you. Jai Hind.